So welcome everybody to the 10 things that you should do now to prepare for survival. And in thinking about this topic, the reason I have brought it up is because our family are doing the Red Cross disaster weekend. And that is really an opportunity. It's really a fundraiser for Red Cross, but I got excited about it because it's an opportunity for us to put all of our survival plans in place and skills and see how well resilient we are. And so I want to encourage anyone. It's happening on the 23rd and the 24th of October. You could either register with the Red Cross and they'll send you out a little kit and some resources to get prepping, or you can just set aside that weekend and hit the ground running. It is cool because they'll send you out little challenges. So we have like 8 envelopes that we will open at specific times that they've told us to open them at, and then go through the challenge together to see how well we do in a situation. And so you can join our team, you can raise money, and as you raise money, then you're allowed a little bit more rewards through the weekend, like having a bed or having a phone. But I'm not telling my kids that. They're just going to tough it out the whole weekend. And so here's what we can do now to prepare. So I'm taking this from the Red Cross, and I've adapted it a little bit for what I feel like is really, really important. So, okay, number 1. Can you guess what it is? Water. Our bodies need water every day. Without 3 days of water, you can be sick or get unwell or die. But drinking water that is not clean can actually get you sicker quicker than anything. So never drink tap water that if you're in a flood situation, never get in the flood waters. That's very dangerous. There can be electronic currents run through the water. Bacteria can build up quickly, and so you never want to drink the water. So you want to have stored water, or you want to have a soya drinking straw, which is really good. You can.
Hello. Oh, hold on.
Hello, Amanda. Welcome. Thank you for joining us so much.
I've actually I haven't done my homework this week. Just to catch up, mate. It caught me by surprise. I was like, oh my gosh, that's right, we're back this tonight. So yeah.
Excellent. No, well, thank you for jumping in. Good to have you.
It's funny, you get out of a little rhythm, but it's good. I just thought, no, I'm going to turn up anyway tonight, and it's just good to get into it.
Awesome. We're on number 1 of 10 things. Excellent. Okay, so if you have any suggestions for any of these things along the way, but you do want to have at least 3 litres. I've got 6 here, but that includes for cleaning and sanitation as well. But at least 3 litres of drinking water per person per day. And if you can store away 2 weeks worth, then that's ideal, because it could be at least 2 weeks before you can get to clean water again. If you're storing water, then storing it in glass is best, because glass won't leach chemicals into the water. You can use thick plastic bottles. Don't use recycled milk cartons or juice cartons. They won't last the distance for storage. You should also label water when you store it, and it can last for up to 12 months, but rotating it every 6 months is ideal. there's lots and lots of training that we can do just on water alone, but I'll keep moving on because we do want to cover the 10 things. Okay, number 2 is light. Light and heat is what we really need. So having torches organized, you don't have to have the batteries stored in them. If you can keep the batteries separate so they don't corrode, is better. So there's all kinds of batteries that you can use. Torches that you can use. Wind up torches are fantastic because then they don't operate on batteries, or even solar paneled torches are really great. Fire, so you want flints for lighting a fire. You can have matches as well, but you do need a variety of different ways for creating light. So candles are great because you're going to need different situations. So fire will also attract smoke. You might want to not have a buildup of smoke. You might just want to have a nice long burning candle to create light. So you need a variety of light options. You might want your fire for cooking purposes, and when lighters run out or fire starters run out, then your flints are going to be great. Having a knife that can create a flint is fantastic because then you can use that over and over again. It doesn't matter if it gets wet, but also it does take some skill in using it. So you do need to practice lighting a fire with a flint, and it's not that hard. But a bit of practice is always good. Number 3 is food. So in a survival situation, you may not be able to cook. You need to have food that will be long lasting, so work in your storage situation, and snacks as well. Food that's high in energy, that has a long shelf life, that's easy to prepare. So you can buy these kits that are already done, and it's really awesome to have those. I actually have this particular brand in my storage kit. You could also have your mac and cheese and soup in a packet mix. Those are all good things that are going to get you by. But make sure you also have some foods that are like your muesli bars and things that you can eat as a snack, because you do need to keep your energy up. Some other reading and listening that I was doing was to say that maybe you don't want to be cooking food that is going to have high aromas, because if you're in a situation, usually people who are not prepared are going to panic in these first couple of days, and you might attract panickers to you if they smell food or see smoke or a fire burning, and they're going to be looking for what you have. So you might be on the move, you might need to stay put. There's lots of things that you need to consider in terms of your food storage, that you can have something that is prepares easily and that you can take easily with you. Okay, protective clothing. Now, I know for myself that if it's cold, it's going to take me 30 minutes and I'm going to be toast. So warm protective clothing that's going to dry quickly. You want sturdy boots, gloves. Now, don't underestimate how important it is to have gloves in your emergency kit. Hats, changes of socks, maybe insect repellent, and also sun protection. And also this is a different way of thinking about protecting your skin, but Vaseline can be a skin protector, as well as your sun protection can be another layer on your skin. Now, I hate the thought of putting Vaseline on your skin because it doesn't allow your skin to breathe. And I'm always about hydrating your skin. But if you're in a situation where you need to protect your skin, then a Vaseline coverage is going to keep certain things from biting you and so forth. It's also a good layer if you have a wound or a burn that you need to protect your skin. Vaseline will work, but it's not going to allow your skin to breathe or hydrate, so you have to use it with caution. So I went and spent quite a bit of money on some really good warm jackets for the kids, for myself to layer up, ones with hoodies, and also pants that have zippers around the knees. So it can turn into shorts pretty easily. I'm imagining maybe wading through water, and I want to be able to zip those off so I can wade through the water and then zip them back on to be warm and keep them dry. So you need to really think through different situations and have those things already stacked away, stuffed in your bag, so that you're not using them and you don't have to run and look for them when you need them. So toiletries. This is something that's, also really, as they say, personal. You're going to want to have your own toothbrush and toothpaste, hand sanitizer, soaps, garbage bags. Now, garbage bags that are heavy can be used for a number of different things. It can be protective for waterproofing, to put your waste into, so for sanitizing, and think about what you always need on a day-to-day basis. Make sure you got that packed in your bag, and that you're not needing to look for those things. So for me, it's even face cream or a small can of dry shampoo, those things that just keep you a little bit sane in a terrible situation. Now, maybe, if there's flood relief, if the government is, setting up shelters, even if you're in a shelter kind of a situation, you're still going to need these items to be able to care for yourself and your family, and for maybe a couple of days or up to a couple of weeks. So, when we had those bad bushfires and people were in shelters, having those things that, people donated and it was great, but having those things that for yourself means that you're going to fare better than most. Okay, aside from that is your first aid kit. Of course, you can buy already made first aid kits, and I recommend everyone do that. It's going to have a triangular bandage in there, but you can also put together your own first aid kit. Now, more important than having a first aid kit is knowing how to use it. And so in another session like this, we'll actually do some first aid training together. And if anyone knows of a first aid trainer, please put them in touch with me so we can get them on and actually run through some basic first aid together, or do a first aid course yourself so that you know how to use a tourniquet, when to use a cold pack and when to use a hot pack, how to do your bandaging, all those important things. If you've done a first aid kit course, then all those things will come back to you when you need to know them. You certainly don't want to be panicking and needing to pull out things and have no idea what they're used for. So, Now, again, with that, medical supplies. So thinking about the people in your family, your own medication needs, even things, I have a stash put aside, things I never even touch, but you might need in certain circumstances, like your cough medicine, your pain relievers, vitamins, your prescription medications, anti-diarrhea medication, eye drops, things like that that are really specific and needed, especially prescription medications. Make sure you got those up to date, because, you know, in a really dire situation, everyone might be scrambling to get those things, and it might be very hard to come by. Number 8, and this one for me is kind of more towards the back of the list, because cash is something that you might need in order to buy things off other people. So small amounts of, like, correct change. You don't want to be keeping $100 bills, because you might not get any change back from a $100 note. So if you are going to keep cash, don't rely on it. You do need your other supplies, more importantly, but don't raid your cash stash either. Make sure you keep it in your kit, and again, keeping it in different denominations so that you've got the right amount of money, and that you are not relying on. Okay. Number 9 is a radio. So having a radio, again, if it's a battery operated radio, don't keep your batteries in it when you've got it in storage. But also a wind up radio is ideal, and that might be a little purchase that you go make that's specific to these needs. They say to tune it to the ABC radio station, because that's going to give you the most relevant, up-to-date information. But I'm going to say use the information with caution as well, because, you know, sometimes the government is our friend and sometimes they're not. So having some kind of communication other than the radio, maybe two-way radio, walkie-talkie systems. Your phone is great, but it may not be something that you can rely on as well. So, Christy, for people in your situation, I'd be setting up, you know, not ham radios, but they're really great, but, you know, walkie-talkie situations as well, and practicing with those, because they might be an absolute godsend at the time. Okay. And then number 10, of course, have a plan. Know your local area, know your escape routes, and have an idea of different things that you could possibly do in different situations. This is obviously going to a really brief overview, and we could go into depth on every one of these suggestions. But really the most important thing is having everything all in one place, so you don't have to go searching for it, because you don't know how much time you have when it's go time. Keep a copy of all your important documents together in a waterproof container, and for me, I always think that if I'm going to need my 72-hour kit, it might be the last time I ever see my home again. So I want to make sure that I have a few valuables that are not stored on my phone, maybe some photos, maybe some, you know, maybe some things that you just need that that are priceless to you stored away. This is a weird one, but I never go anywhere without earrings, so I've even got earrings stashed in my 72-hour kit that are easy wearable, and I don't know, it's just my thing. Now here's an extra tip for you. Don't just pack things for you and your family that's going to help you survive, but have extras as well. If you have things that you can give away, then it's going to serve you well. So, you know, you might have people who are in desperate need, that if you can offer them something, it's going to maybe stop them from attacking. It may be that you can help somebody and then they're going to help you in return. Having those extra supplies are really going to make a big difference in how well you fare. Certainly, in those first 72 hours are the hardest. It's where the most uncertainty is. It's where people around you, if you're in a city dwelling, it's where people are panicking around you, and you know, it's hardest to connect with people in that first while. So having that communication, having that plan, having the set plans for where to meet in case you are separated from your loved ones, or from if you are a hub coordinator, having an already established plan for where to go to in case of emergency is a great thing to think about and to plan for. And then knowing, having some training in all of the areas that we've talked about already. Now, some other essentials that are not in the 10, and pets. Okay, so if you have pets and they're important to you, make sure you have a plan for your pets. My plan for my pets is that I stock them up with food and they're on their own. I might let my birds out of my cage, and maybe, you know, but they're not my priority. But you might have pets that you are planning to take with you, so you need to plan for them as well. Okay, I am going to open it up and just let me check this chat. So a satellite phone, yes. So you might need to do your research on a satellite phone. There are some things that are maybe a bit more expensive that you could plan for. You might want to plan for a generator. You might want to plan for your journeying, your escape route. So maybe having a bike, if the car is not working, then that might be an option for you. So these are kind of the first 10 that, you know, you really want to start thinking about. And certainly then there's a whole list of other things that we can talk about. So I'm going to stop share there, or stop sharing my screen, and then just open up the chat. And if I can find, and then any questions that you'd like to ask. I'm going to find this screen. Maybe I can stop my share. There it is. Okay. So welcome, Linda. Thanks for joining us. And Irene. And I might just, for those of you who are watching the recording, the fun really begins after I press stop on the record, and then we just chat in a group. So please jump on if you want to be part of this community. Join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Meet people in your area. This is in Telegram. You'll find us in MySelf Reliance and Food Storage. I also post these to YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, Kelly Wilkins. You can find the recordings there, and any previous recordings if you've missed those. But this is really the place that we can gather together and make plans as a community. And I think that's the most important part, because in our group, I post loads of videos that you can watch, but it's really in connecting with each other that you're going to get the most support, and we can grow together as in our own local communities as well. So thanks for everyone who's watching the recording. I'm going to press stop on here now, and we're going to chat